Okay, let's talk about a pretty uncomfortable reality for business leaders and managers right now. We're going to take a hard look at how your team is actually getting their work done. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are moving way beyond all the hype surrounding AI, and we're getting right into the actual day-to-day mechanics of modern leadership. You might want to grab a notebook for this one, because today is a totally practical, instructional masterclass. We're going to transform these timely insights into a framework you can literally use the second this is over. So if you lead a team, if you run a department, or if you answer to a board, you really need to pay close attention to this shift.
Boards and executive teams all over the globe are starting to ask this exact terrifying question. The conversation is no longer, hey, are we using AI? Now it's, wait, why are we moving so slowly? And here's the absolute secret. It's not the expensive, high-level external consultants pulling off these miracles. It's your junior analysts. It's your marketing coordinators. They are the ones driving these massive speed differences. Think about that junior marketer who somehow turned around a deep competitor analysis in a single afternoon. Well, they didn't get that fast by writing cleverer prompts. No, they secretly mastered an entirely new way to use artificial intelligence, and frankly, they're leaving traditional management in the dust.
And that brilliantly illustrates our core theme for today. Prompting was the first era. Delegating is the next. I want you to really think about that for a second. Speed and quality. They're no longer coming from buying some cheat sheet of magic words to paste into a chat box. The professionals who are winning right now have shifted to a completely different operational model. They aren't treating AI like a fancy calculator anymore. They're treating it like a highly capable direct report. To help you get ahead of this curve, here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The end of prompting. 2. AI's 5 new capabilities. 3. Micromanaging versus proper management. 4. The delegation playbook. And 5. Your first AI project. We are going to move quickly right past the theory and hand you a concrete step-by-step instructional playbook so you can upgrade your leadership toolkit today. Let's get to work.
Section 1. The end of prompting. Look, prompting is dying. For the past 2 years, the entire professional world has been completely obsessed with prompt engineering. I mean, we saw endless courses, certifications, and people selling those PDFs of the top 10,000 ultimate magic prompts for $9 on LinkedIn. We were all acting like Bob the overprompter, endlessly tweaking sentences just trying to find the perfect command. But finding that perfect command is rapidly becoming obsolete.
Which brings us to Section 2. AI's 5 new capabilities. There is no perfect prompt anymore. If you look closely at what major AI labs like Google are actually building right now, a completely different operational picture starts to emerge. They're designing systems that take the heavy lifting completely off the user. The major tech companies are quietly making prompt craft less and less necessary.
The reason prompting is dying is rooted right here in these 5 new capabilities. Let's break them down. 1. Memory. The AI actually remembers what matters about your business, so you don't have to re-explain the context every single time. 2. Long-term context. It holds the thread across days of complex work rather than just one isolated temporary chat window. 3. Planning. And notice the gears turning here. Before it even acts, the machine actively breaks goals into steps, exactly like a competent employee sketching out a project plan. 4. Deep research. It gathers, compares, and synthesizes sources without you having to spoon-feed it every single link. And 5. Agents. It doesn't just type out text anymore. It chains tools together to execute multi-step workflows, drafting, revising, formatting, all on its own. The burden of figuring out the how has officially shifted from us to the machine.
Section 3. Micromanaging versus proper management. I want you to think about the absolute best manager you've ever had in your entire career. Did they stand over your shoulder dictating every single keystroke you made? Of course not, right? They gave you a clear outcome, the necessary context, and your constraints. And that exact dynamic is the core philosophy of this new AI shift.
Look at the massive difference here. On the left, you have prompting, which is literally just micromanagement. It's you hunched over a keyboard, specifying every minor instruction, tweaking the wording, basically coaxing the machine sentence by sentence. It's utterly exhausting. Now look at the right. Delegating is proper management. You define the target goal. The AI figures out the optimal steps and tools to get there, and your primary job becomes reviewing the outcomes, not the keystrokes. You are officially managing the machine.
Let's look at a concrete example of this shift in action. Honestly, you might actually want to screenshot this one. The bad approach, the old prompting approach, is saying, write me 5 bullet points about our Q3 pipeline. It's low context, it's lazy, and you know what? It yields generic robotic results. The good approach, the delegation approach, sounds more like this. I need a briefing that will convince our regional VP to fund the pilot program. Here's the background on the account. Here's what she cares about most, and here is exactly what a successful pitch looks like. Good delegation gives rich context, tight constraints, and a crystal clear picture of success.
So here's the ultimate irony of the AI revolution. The tech world basically told us we all needed to learn how to code or become these advanced prompt engineers to survive. Well, not true. Actually, if you spent your career learning to set objectives, allocate resources, sequence work, and hold outputs to a really high standard, congratulations, you already hold the winning cards. The competitive advantage is migrating rapidly away from the coders, and it's moving directly toward experienced managers.
Section 4, the Delegation Playbook. If you already have those management skills, you just need what we call the translation layer. You need to learn exactly how to apply your management discipline to these new AI systems. So let's build that translation layer right now.
Okay, write this next part down. Here is your 6-step practical playbook. This is the instructional core of our explainer, giving you an immediate, actionable framework you can use the minute you close this window. We're going to learn to write briefs, pick outcomes, build review discipline, inventory workflows, develop outcome literacy, and practice orchestration. Let's break these down one by one.
Step 1, stop collecting prompts and start writing delegation briefs. A delegation brief is a clear, comprehensive directive. It absolutely must contain the outcome needed, who the target audience is, the vital business context, your strict constraints, and crucially, your definition of what done actually looks like. Stop using a chat box like it's a basic search engine. Treat it exactly like an email you are sending to a highly capable, newly hired analyst. Seriously, take a real task from your desk this week and write it up using this exact framework. Hand that to a modern AI system. This one single habit change is the absolute fastest on-ramp to this new era.
Step 2, pick outcomes, not tools. Please don't wander around your office asking, how can we find a use case for AI? That is entirely backward. Instead, I want you to identify the 3 specific outcomes your team is already on the hook for this quarter. Start with your top 3 goals. Then pinpoint which parts of achieving those goals require the heaviest lifting. You know, things like deep market research, crunching massive data, or drafting endless reports. Delegate those specific bottlenecks. Focus on the outcome and let the AI be the engine that actually gets you there.
Step 3 comes with a massive warning label you cannot ignore. Delegation without inspection is abdication. This is true with your human employees, and trust me, it is doubly true with AI. You cannot just blindly trust the output. You must aggressively build a review discipline. Before you even hand off that delegation brief, decide exactly how you will verify the AI-produced work. What specific facts get checked? What requires a human sign-off? What exact standards must the output meet before it goes to a client? Rigorous review is what separates real leaders from reckless early adopters. Steps 4 and 5 really go hand in hand. Surface hidden workflows and develop your outcome literacy. First, for step 4, just acknowledge that your team is already using AI quietly. Ask them to show off their best shortcuts out in the open. Learn from the junior staff who are moving at warp speed. Then, for step 5, lean into your unique human advantage. Look, AI does not understand office politics, it doesn't get nuanced client emotions, and it doesn't know your specific market constraints. That strategic context, knowing what is actually worth pursuing, is your outcome literacy. It is absolutely your superpower. The machine does the heavy lifting, you provide the vital human compass.
Finally, Section 5, your first AI project. To make all of this really stick, you have to practice orchestration on something real today. You will learn infinitely more by running one real project end-to-end than by sitting through 10 theoretical online courses.
Pick a meaningful project this week. It could be a deep competitive analysis, a comprehensive program proposal, maybe a complex process redesign. Whatever it is, be the captain of the ship. Let the AI handle the deep water research and build the brick and mortar structure of the first draft. Your sole focus is steering the ship. You set the goal, you verify the data, and you make the final judgment calls on the output. Build that critical muscle memory of managing the system rather than doing the typing yourself. The absolute most crucial point we are walking away with today is this. AI delegation is a leadership skill, not a technical skill. The era of the prompt engineer is rapidly fading into the background. The professionals who will truly win this next era are the ones who apply rigorous management discipline to orchestrate these highly intelligent systems. You don't need to learn to code. You just need to remember how to lead. I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought regarding the future of your career. The playbook is right here in your hands.
The shift from prompting to managing is happening as we speak. So the only question in front of every manager and executive watching this is, will you develop this skill before your competitors do? Or, even scarier, before your own team develops it without you? Don't be the last one to figure this out. Thanks for joining this explainer. Now, go write your very first delegation brief.